Hey, power players, you are in the right place if you're ready to own your power. I'm Coach Simone Kelly, author, intuitive life coach, and Reiki master with Own Your Power Communication. Our content serves as your trusted guide to conscious living, intuitive wisdom, and personal growth. And today we are talking about making the Black exodus. Brother Rique, who is a community leader and an educator who I've known for many, many years in South Florida community. And I'm so happy to have him. He's a globetrotter. Right now he's in England, right?
Yes, I
But
am in London.
but you reside
I live in Ghana
in Ghana.
and I'm currently in London.
Yes, yes. You are ahead of the curve. Most people are leaving now, but I know you've been talking about Ghana and leaving America for many, many years. I don't know when you started. Like, when did you actually make the decision to leave?
Um, I started thinking about leaving way back in about 2005,
Hmm.
which is about when I first went to Ghana. But
Okay.
I've been thinking about making a transition out of the US for some time.
And what sparked that I guess that passion?
A couple of things, primarily. I came to the realization that the American dream was not going to be a dream for a lot of us. And that actually prompted me to start saying, if this is going to be a nightmare, I'd rather be someplace else. And I mean, honestly, that's part of the whole thing. And Marcus Garvey actually made the point about finding your roots. A person who doesn't know his history.
Right,
And as a historian,
right.
I decided to actually go and explore. And so that's how it all began.
It's funny that you said that 'cause before you even said the words, I was picturing a meme I saw that said, "The new American dream is leaving."
If you are alert to what is going on or what has been going on, the
Right.
Africans in America, for the most part, a lot of us are coming from the islands or someplace else. And we arrived there and we are actually sold, before we arrived there, we're sold this idea that, of course, the streets are paved with gold and you're gonna this, that, and all of this kind of stuff. And when you get there, you come to a realization that you've left paradise to arrive in some place which is more hellish than you could ever have thought of. And so all of these kind of things, if you're thinking,
Right.
because a lot of us get trapped
Yeah.
in staying, we love to leave, but we're trapped because we bought into the materialistic world that you got to have this and you got to have that. And once you've actually got on the treadmill, I got to pay my car note, I got to pay my rent or mortgage, I got to pay, then of course you're trapped.
What made you choose Ghana? I know you said it's going back to your roots, and I've heard so many amazing stories of the people visiting and being so touched by, learning a lot about the history, like to the point that they're brought to their knees or crying. I don't know what it's called, but it's the area where the slaves were transported. Is that Ghana?
I mean, a lot of people go to Cape Coast
Yeah.
or Elmina. Cape Coast, of course, is one of the dungeons. The
Right.
door of no return is what a lot of people
Ghana.
actually
Yeah.
kind of think in terms of. I mean, Ghana is a lot more than just that.
I know. I know.
But most
It's
people
there.
actually know, well, no, most people know of Ghana because, of course, a lot of us came through Ghana. Ghana have more slave ports than any other country on the continent of Africa. And so, of course, a lot of us came through that route to arrive anywhere in the islands, the Caribbean or South America.
Yeah, I did my ancestry.com. I don't even know now. They keep saying that's bad now too. So I don't know. Supposedly I'm like 48% Nigerian and I got Ghana and all these different
Yes,
types of African, but you have
we're
Jamaican,
all mixed up.
average.
I mean, we're all one.
Yeah,
And that's one of the big things that we need to come to understand. Whether you're Jamaican, Barbadian, Haitian, or whatever, we're still just one. It's
yeah.
just a matter of where we were dropped.
So I have a question. What would be, I guess, a tip to somebody who's exploring the idea of leaving, but they have no idea where they want to go? Because there's a lot of people I know that haven't even left the country. Like they're grown people and never left the country.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I went to Puerto Rico, but they haven't gone like anywhere.
Oh,
What would you
mm,
suggest to somebody that's that's trying to dip their toe in the water to see what country would be good for me? What advice would you give them?
Well, we recognize Ghana as the gateway to Africa, largely because Ghana is regarded as one of the most, at least the people anyhow, are among the most friendly people you'll meet
Oh,
on the continent. That's why no, seriously, it's regarded as a gateway because, of course, the people are friendly, it is safe, and all of these kind of things. I mean, when I first went there back in early 2000s. I mean, I'll give you an example of what I mean. It's changed now, and things are constantly changing wherever you are.
right,
But I mean, I remember an occasion where one you go out, you're a tourist, you go to some restaurant or something like that, and one of us left our camera on the thing and actually left it there, went home to the hotel and doing things. Then suddenly became aware that the camera was missing.
right.
So they thought, oh, my shoe, I've lost my camera. But you retrace your step, you go back, and your camera is either same place there or one of the person pick it up, and as soon as you arrive, they'll give it to you. I mean, that's how it has been.
Right.
So, I mean, as I say, things have changed. But, that's the kind of place that it's.
But my question is, aside from Ghana, is there any other place that
You got a total of 54 countries on the continent. And, I mean, okay, I am biased because Ghana is home.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, you can go to Senegal, you can go to Tanzania. I mean, okay, you can go to um, again, if you're looking for some place which is English speaking because you're English speaking, then
Mhm.
of course you're going to actually choose, say, Nigeria or Ghana or even Ethiopia or someplace like that. But
Okay.
the whole point is that one would say to anyone before you make a decision to leave, one, don't burn all your bridges. Whatever you do, kind
Test
of
it out first.
go. Yeah. No, no, that's very important. You
Yeah,
you don't burn your bridges before you actually kind of make your decision. So you go look at different places and see what actually feels comfortable to you. The people and the relationship that you're going to build. I
right,
mean, for me, the journey has been, or could be said to be long, because I've been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But what I've chosen to do, and again, this is relevant for more mature people. If you're moving from someplace where you're comfortable, you want to go someplace where you can build relationships, and
right,
you don't arrive and build relationship overnight.
right,
So
right.
you've got to actually take time to build relationships, and so that's part of the process. I made friends. I travel. I go back. I see are they loyal friends and that kind of. And before you know it, you've actually got yourself a community,
Community.
which you can actually move into.
Yeah. One thing I have heard is like I'm in Costa Rica now. So people that
Mm,
I've met are saying they have more friends or tighter knit community out of the country versus when they lived in
for
America.
sure.
Because
Yeah.
we're all a fish out of water. We need to help each other and figure out. A lot of people are bartering, like taking it back to the roots. Back in the day, helping each other.
You
Like
do whatever.
right now, I have a lady that we became friends. She sells
Mm,
IDs and she's a chef, and she's teaching me.
mm.
And in exchange, I'm helping her with her social media and
There
posting.
you go.
So yeah, it's like it's but another thing, going back to building relationships, now that
Mm,
back in 2005 or whatever, they didn't have as much as they have now. But now
no.
the many Facebook groups, there's WhatsApp groups, like there's
Mm,
so many different groups based on where you're living or where you want to move, where you can
mhm.
connect with other people. That's how I noticed here in Costa Rica. It's like people go,
Mm.
oh, you come on, girl, I'm gonna add you to this group, and then everybody just becomes friends, and then oh yeah, like I'm already on the freaking Kwanzaa committee. I've been here
There
a
you
month.
go. I tell you what, in the United States, or in, well, a lot of developed countries, I think, because things like that happen in parts of Britain as well. But we are led to believe that we're individuals in the developed world,
Mhm.
where, of course, I can live next door to somebody for 5 years and still don't know who they are. I mean, we might say hello and have it,
Yeah,
but we don't know who
not
they are.
the same like it was.
In the developing world, in the South, as I'll call it,
Mhm.
not we're in the North. I'm in the North at the moment. You're in the South, the Southern Hemisphere. In the South, people still have a kind of community
Yeah,
oriented lifestyle. And so you kind of get drawn into that community. And for me, anyhow, it is. essential because, of course, I am that kind of person. I need people in
Yeah.
order to feel alive. And yeah, no, this is wonderful.
So, let's talk about trying to tone down maybe your American culture, or not just tone down, but
Mm.
have realistic expectations. So I know a lot of people,
Right.
they come to another country and they're like, "Oh, well, this isn't on time. This isn't happening." But they need to
Mm.
leave that American culture in America and try.
Well, it's not even leaving the culture. You see, what happens to a lot of us? We come with certain expectations. We bring our bags.
Yeah,
We have our chip on our shoulder.
that part.
And of course, coming from America, I am superior to
Yes,
you.
yes.
And that, of course, is a nonsense
Hmm.
way to start. Because, in fact, you're going someplace where you're expecting, or you should be expecting, to learn
Their
the
culture.
culture that
Yeah.
you're moving into.
Mhm.
It's not that you're losing your culture. You carry whoever you are, but what you're doing is you're open to learn
Yeah.
based on the people that you're with. And so if you start with a chip, I mean, I know a lot of people, or let me put it this way. I know of a lot of people who have actually traveled outside, and of course, because the light goes off, or because the water doesn't run, or because you don't have this or that,
They go crazy.
they go crazy. Because of course they have been programmed to believe that is normal everywhere. That
Right,
is not normal everywhere.
right,
In fact, I don't have hot running water in where I am at home,
right,
but the water is hot enough for me not to feel that it's cold. I mean, because the temperature is totally different in an environment where, in fact, hot water is, you can have it.
right.
I'm not saying you shouldn't, you don't, you won't have it, but I don't have it because I don't need it. And so, the whole thing is totally different. I say to one, leave your bags at home
Mhm.
if you're intending to actually make a transition, because for as long as you carry those bags with you, you're going to be weighed down.
Yeah,
And are you looking for this as a move, or is it just a continuity? If it's a continuity, look, let me start with the beginning. No one leaves home if it's comfortable. You leave home because you want something different and whatnot. And if
correct.
your intention for finding something different is still to carry all that chip on your shoulder, then
Right,
it's a continuity. It's not a change. You
right,
might as well stay where you were. And in order for you to actually learn, you got to be open. You got to be prepared to actually move out of your comfort zone to
right.
recognize that the world is a
It's
big place.
different.
And
Yeah.
in truth, we're all the same.
Well, one word of advice I would give people is to travel first. Like, try to see the world a little bit, even if it's like a little bit. Because I'm so grateful for my mom, because my mom we had a timeshare, so we used to go. I
Mm.
don't know if people do timeshares anymore. Back in the day, it was a big thing.
It's
Um,
well, taxpayer still exists. I was
yeah,
talking about it only the other day. It's
my
out of favor, but it takes
yeah, now we do Airbnb, right? No, but we travel so many places, and I used to have that American.
experience. Mm.
No, but I'm saying I had that superior attitude, like, "Mommy, they don't have my frosted flakes, or they don't have my orange juice, my Tropicana." She's like, "Simone, you must learn to adjust. You must learn to adjust." She used to always say that to me. And then I'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I think alternative, whatever this frosted flakes is." Uh,
it's
so
it's it's it's
it
the
helps.
socialization.
Yeah,
You've been socialized to believe that this is where you're coming from
right,
is the best and
right.
everything.
But another thing that I love, a woman that I met here, she, runs a hotel, and a small hotel, but she told me when
Mm.
she moves here, her shoulders dropped. And I was like,
Of
"Wow,
course.
I never thought that, because we're so tense, we're so everything has to be the certain way."
No, promise you, it happens to most, if not all of us. When you leave, we live in a world in the States, which is a state of permanent stress and anxiety. And, we're alert. And of course, that is one of the reasons why most of us actually suffer from depression, suffer from heart problem, and
Yeah,
all of these things,
yeah,
because you're
right.
permanently at a fight or flight stage. There's something going to happen. And when you arrive on the continent, I mean, in my case, what I say is I kind of felt I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I came to the realization
Yeah,
I am free. And so I pour libation the first time when I did all kind of stuff. Look, man, I had to just gotta say thank you, thank you, thank you for
right.
the universe to actually open its arms to welcome me on the continent.
So tell us a little bit about your life on the continent when you are there. What's the cost of living like? What's health care
Okay.
like? Just give me a couple of things that you noticed are better than in America for you.
All right. Well, I could put it like this. I would say that the standard of living in the States is higher because you have what is believed to be more choice of
Okay.
things. But the quality of life, for me, I won't trade that for anything. It's the quality of life. I am able to, with very little. I mean, okay, in my case, I'm fortunate. I've got some land, and having got some land, I've built a house. Actually, got space to grow my own food
Nice.
and all of that kind of thing. If you're transitioning, what you need to do before you leave is to spend the next 6 months or so, look at the exchange rate so that you can actually work out how much you will need in order to do whatever. Exchange rates have been up and down and all of that, but your dollar in Ghana will go further than the city does
Right.
because, of course, all of that kind of thing. You will find that the food or the quality of the food, which I'm sure you're doing in Costa Rica, is fresher, is much more, you can go pick your fruit and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. You eat.
These seeds, I'm so amazed that there's things with seeds in it. Like,
I've not seen, I mean, in the area that I live, we grow melon. I have not seen a single melon so far without seed. I use that as an example.
okay, I
All
had
the melons
watermelon today.
got seed. What are you talking about? I haven't seen anything. We get grapes from South Africa, and again they're seeded grapes. But I've seen recently that they had some seedless grapes. I got to speak to them about that. I'll bring them seedless. Uh,
I
uh,
heard, I heard, I don't know the whole story, but I did hear Bill Gates people are trying to talk some
Oh
farm.
yeah, they're trying to talk Kenyans into and other people into GMO stuff and what have you. But I mean, that's another conversation
Right,
because
right,
we're talking about seeds, and the GMO seed is against your indigenous seeds, which because of patenting and all of that, which they've done, then of course people are finding it difficult to find indigenous seeds and things like that, which is real. And
right.
so those kind of things. But no, you ask about the standard of living, quality of life. Basically, what do I find? I mean, the fact that I wake up. Okay, life begins in Ghana about 4:30 in the morning because people get up
Get
early.
up early.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you see, when a tourist come, they get up at 8 for breakfast, 8, 9, and then they see people sitting down and wondering they're lazy. No, they've done a day's
get up.
work before you got out of bed. They traveled from wherever and all of it. So by say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, people, toned out at night. I mean, 8, 9 o'clock, people are indoors for the
Right.
most part. Young people are out doing their thing, but I mean, people are winding down because the sun. We still work with the sun. When
Mhm.
the sun rises, that's when the day begins. When the sun goes down, that's when the day ends largely. And so people actually work in that particular way. I'm trying to think of things that I find because everything is
Okay, what about healthcare? How's the health?
the quality of healthcare. What? All right, I can give you an example. I've got some friends who transitioned last year, early last year. They had health issues. They've actually been to the hospital and they pay less than they would pay in the States, and they say the quality of the care that they've got is better. I've actually, where I was staying, I had hospitals all around me. I've been to different hospitals. I've never had any complaint. I've found the quality of treatment excellent and all of that. So, healthcare perspective, like every place else, you have good and bad somewhere. And I don't want to give the impression that it's perfect
Right,
because it's not perfect. They've got their issues. But at the end of the day, the quality of care that I've received and the aspirins that I know of have received have been good.
Okay, and now this is a fun one. What about your new life brings you the most joy? Living
Yeah.
in
What about my new life brings me the most joy? I think really the people. It might sound kind of silly, but people, it's the people that
the people.
really look. I mean, most of the people that I'm around, they don't drink. Some of them are Muslim and others. In fact, most of the people, the way that I put it is, we all gravitate to that which we love. I can leave the United States and land in Ecuador and find people who are like me.
Right,
And
right.
that's what's happened. People who actually share the same kind of
Now,
ideology or kind of vision of life is that I go to, for instance, on a Sunday morning when I'm home, I go to a an African spiritual session. It's not a church, it's some traditional African belief system. Of course, because most of us have bought into Christianity or Islamic or Judaism or whatever, I go to the African spiritual meetings and this kind of thing. So we kind of meet up and we have learning to be a good African through the traditional way and things like that. So that kind of thing excites me as
right.
well. I mean, Kama also goes, and if when Mikey comes over, they all come and visit the kind of because we're all learning. It's not that coming from America, the big problem, and this is the problem, because you're coming from outside. A lot of the Ghanaian believe that you happen to come with a pocket full of money.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a big, big issue.
yeah.
So basically, you gotta actually let them know that look, I'm just like you.
Right.
I might have a little bit more than you, but basically, once you've actually got into that, you can actually work it out. But it's a belief system that you're coming with more than they have. That's one of the big problems.
So what overall is the people that bring
It's the people,
joy?
absolutely. And as I said, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and hey, look, again, this is part of the thing. There are good people and bad people everywhere, and you gravitate towards that which. And some people get burnt and what have you. But I can put my hands on my heart and say, in all the 17, 18 years, no, it's 20 years now that I've been going to Ghana,
Oh,
I've
wow.
actually,
Ah,
well, I've got friends who've been there for 40 years.
okay.
But in all that time, I mean, yes, you come upon issues, but again, it's not the issue itself, it's how you deal with it.
That was my
Because,
next question.
yeah, it's how you deal with it. You can actually find something goes wrong and it becomes the end of the world for you. And of course, you cost the whole country because one person did something, and it's because they're not. If you do that, you're going to be in trouble because you just left someplace where people treat you like you don't exist in negative thought and you accepted that. Yet you come and here you want to lord it over people and that kind of thing. You don't. You simply recognize that there are some crooks and there are some good people, and you're going to actually meet both of them and you work with them.
You have to use your discernment
Of course.
okay. So, but that my next question is related to, I guess, the challenges that you did face in the beginning.
Mm.
What were some challenges that people probably should be aware of, and how should they, work through them? Is there anything that you could think of that would be like something that most people might not realize?
You know, when you make a transition, you're vulnerable because you are out of your comfort zone. You've lived wherever you live for a lot of years and you take things for granted.
Right.
The important thing is when you've made the transition, it is important to be consciously alert because you're out of your comfort zone, you're learning, and you've got to use your eyes, your ears, in fact, use all your senses in order to see what is happening and learn. Ghana, there are 70, I think 76 different languages spoken in the country.
Good.
All right, Nigeria's got about 200. Ghana has got about 70 odd different languages. The main language spoken is three. It's an Akan language. TW I pronounce like tree, not TREE, but or THRE, but tree. If you don't speak the language, then there may be confusion. I don't speak the language. I'll put my hand up. I speak a little bit, but
Quality.
I'm not fluent.
Uh,
I'm learning, but I'm not fluent. And so there are misunderstanding and things like that. You
right.
got to be aware that because you might not have Aunt Mary or Uncle John or sister, cousin down the corner, and you're on your own, you're
Yeah.
gonna be you're gonna have to be trusting because the people around you are the ones who are going to either help lift you up or take you down.
Yeah.
So trust is going to be a big issue in terms of a new person coming in. So you have to deal with trust. You got to deal with being sensitive. You got to deal with how much money you've got because that's the other thing. Because at the beginning, you feel that everything is, I can afford that. I can afford that. I can. And hey, in no time at all, your money is gone. So
So
you got to be very, those are kind of things that a new person has to look at. And also, it is a fact that wherever you go, because even when I go to Jamaica, people actually see me not as a Jamaican, but as a foreigner. And so, of course, the prices of things are elevated. And so, it happens everywhere. So again, you got to be able to maneuver. And it does help if you can actually speak a few words of any of the language, just to kind of say, how much is this and whatnot. So people feel that you are not just a tourist here for one day, but
right.
because if you're only here for a while, they don't care. They're not gonna see you again. If you're relocating, then of course you want to build relationships.
I would definitely
I don't
say
know if that answered the question, but
and no, you did. That's the big thing,
yeah,
the trust and being aware of your surroundings and all that.
yeah,
But also, I think it's important to make friends with the local of wherever you're meeting.
absolutely, absolutely.
Even perfect example, I went to the farmers market and I had a taxi guy take me and he was like, "I'm coming with you." And I was like, you don't have to come. He's like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, and I
Yeah,
had on a big old Costa Rican baseball cap looking like a tourist. He was like, "Yeah, because they're
there you
gonna
go.
give you the gringo price. So let me come with you."
Yeah, because you don't know. You just kind of feel comfortable. This is me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, but I remember even as a teenager going in Jamaica with my family, me and my cousin
mm,
got our nails done in the same
yeah,
place, and my price was like double her price. And I was like, "Excuse what are you doing?" They were like, "Oh, she's an American." And then my cousin was like, "No, no, no, we're Jamaican," And like they were really like trying to give me a different rate because
yeah.
I think I had a
You're foreign, therefore the rate is
hotel
different.
bracelet. You have the hotel, what do they call that? The
But you're very safe.
No, the bracelet that you wear when you're in a hotel. What is that called? All inclusive.
Well, I see. I see.
Bracelet. They like, oh, she rich, she got money. Let me rip off.
Well, of course, if you're in an all inclusive, then of course you gotta have money. That's a perception. You see, look, these are issues. Let me ask you this. I mean, in terms of how long have you been there in Costa Rica?
It'll be a month, December 2nd.
Okay, so you're a newbie. So
Yeah.
you're still finding your way. I mean, mean, again, the question for me, you. How did you choose your
Oh,
location?
it was divine, all I can say. I picked this part of Costa Rica because I wanted to be on the Caribbean side. The I knew that there were Jamaican roots here. It's not I'm not in
Uh-huh.
it's
Mhm.
close enough for that.
No, that's important.
I had a girlfriend that used to live on this side, so she told me this is the easy part of Costa Rica where I
Mm,
don't have a car. I could just walk to everywhere or ride a bike or whatever. And then, funny enough, my landlord is Jamaican.
all
Uh,
right.
And I found a few friends. I was with my at a hotel, staying at a hotel. The lady that ran the hotel, me and her went walking her dogs every morning. It was like a small hotel, so I was the only guest that week. So every time she went to town, I went with her and got to know the neighborhood, and I ended up
See
being,
what I mean?
yeah,
Exactly the point I'm making. You
yeah.
gravitate to that which you like, and you find before you know it, you travel all this way and you end up someplace where the people are like you.
It was perfect. Yeah, because even
Yeah.
even the landlord sounds like my auntie. When I heard her voice, I was like, "Oh, she's like my family." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy." Like because she's happy that to find somebody that is in the community. So it
Beautiful.
was perfect. And where I live is like I literally walk to the beaches on the corner, supermarkets right here, like everything's right here. So it just worked out like perfect. And the
Oh,
lady referred me, her daughter lives downstairs, and her daughter and the husband are writers. Come
all
on.
right. So
Yeah.
very nice. You see, this is what I mean about us, the energy
Yeah,
to kind of find your center
yeah,
wherever you go and that kind of thing. Where I am in Ghana, I mean, I live about a mile, or at least my house is about a mile from the ocean. So
nice.
I can walk to the ocean. Well, walk. I don't have a car. So I use public transport. Although I've been there all this time, I use public transport everywhere and
Right.
I kind of do. And of course, it's important to be able to, with your locals, they look out for you.
Yes.
If if you're not there, whatever, they know and they look. This is important in terms of when one is actually going, which is part of what I'm saying about in the States, I can be there for however long, and I don't necessarily know my neighbor.
Mm.
Whereby here, in fact, in a lot of places they used to live, they still do in some places, in compounds. Families live in a kind of circular kind of compound. Everybody, is there, the whole family, and they know who is there, they know who is there. And of course, if one of the fun things, I mean, I saw this, in fact, in comparatively recently, somebody did something in a large town. They might have stolen something or what have you, and
Mhm.
the people grabbed him. And they got a call for the police because
I
they
think
beat
I saw a video like that. Yeah, they're like everybody.
somebody and gonna get the punch. Basically, so the police come to rescue this person because, of course, it's not again, it's very safe. Admittedly, every place has got their bad. I
Yeah,
keep saying that because
sure.
I don't want to give the impression that it's perfect. You make your own heaven
Right.
and your own hell at the same time. And where I am, I mean, come on, no, the brother, he lives a little way away, but we meet up every weekend.
Nice.
And yeah, because
Yeah.
I'll pass it on. But we're home, and he's married, and is all okay there. I'm not, but I'm happy in my space, and I've got my folks looking after my space when I'm not there, and life is good. Life is good. The quality of life is something that I won't trade.
That's awesome. I have one last question. This is still my struggle is
Hmm.
downsizing. Like, what do you advise
Uh-huh.
you? Because I know some people are like, oh, I'm just going to ship everything, and I'm like, that's not smart. Or shipping your car, which I don't. I sold my car, and I don't even miss it.
Uh-huh.
So what's the process? Oh, I know you had a little bit of a cushion because you got years to do it. But
Yeah, I
what,
have had
what-
plenty of time to actually work out. No, what I say to everyone is make the decision. Is this temporary or permanent? And again, in the same statement, I say don't burn all your bridges at once,
right,
because you got to give it time to say that it's going to work for me. Because I ask you where you're staying, because where one first land may not be the best place.
right,
What I mean is, even if I live in Fort Lauderdale and I travel to Los Angeles, where I go in Los Angeles might not be the best place. And if I buy a house or put down roots there, then I might be miserable because it would have been better over someplace else. So basically, what you want to do is, in terms of downsizing, basically take your basic minimum. Take what you feel your necessary. Mine, my books. I gotta have my books with me. I gotta have my music. My books and my music are things. Other things are, yeah, my photography and things like that. But the truth is, live simply, because you ain't gonna take any of the material things that you acquire in the United States with you. Sure, they say it's for comfort and all of that, bull. It's nonsense. Get rid of it. You will find that life, you make the opportunity for new things to come into your world.
yes,
You don't want to carry, again, as I say, don't carry all of the bags with you,
right,
because it's then not a new experience. It's the same experience you're carrying on. And if you want a new experience, then you got to start over. And starting over meaning be vulnerable. You got to be in this environment to be vulnerable to start growing and
Yeah.
see how it works.
And most places you go to, like the place I got is fully furnished. I just
Mhm.
don't have all my art and my books yet. Some stuff.
Again, that's part of what I mean. You
Yeah,
take time, you see whether this is where you want to be or not,
yeah.
or you kind of say, okay, yeah, I can bring my things now because, and that works. So store for a little while if necessary, and then give it 3 months. Then you decide, okay, I feel comfortable. I can bring what I need, but don't get rid of everything because, as I said, there are some people who come who actually hate it because they come on vacation. No, you come on vacation,
Don't
and
care.
when you're on vacation, it's a totally different world from living in a place. And you're there, and you feel suddenly you have responsibility. You got to pay bills. You got to this. You got to all of those kind of stuff. And when all of that hits you, you kind of start saying, "Ah, I want to run back to what I'm used to," or you say, "You know what? This is it." So don't sell. Don't get rid of everything at once.
I
Mm,
already made my mind. But I said if I don't like it here, which I doubt that very much that I'll change my mind already. I'm
mm.
go to Panama or somewhere else, but I'm not going back to America. I'm good. I'm
Well, I know I'm not either.
good on
You're always welcome to come. I know that you say you don't want to come too far because you're father.
I mean, I want to come to visit for sure. That's on my bucket list.
So you're more than welcome anytime.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, again, that's part of the whole thing. And I personally believe that every African should make at least one trip to the continent. The reason for that is because we've been sold a bill, we've been sold a load of lies about who we are and about the continent of Africa. And of course, where people are just beginning to actually open their consciousness to realize that, wait a minute, most airplane I take going to Africa is full of white people or Europeans. So why are they going there? And I'm the only one or two or three, largely because they know what's there and we are
All of the
afraid to go.
sources. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of people have been so brainwashed of what Africa
Hmm.
is too. I love that that social media has been opening people's eyes, showing this is what Ghana looks like. This is what
Yeah,
Johannesburg looks like versus they think
yeah.
it's a dirt road and cow.
The cars crossing the road and the traffic stop, or the sheep's actually traveling in my little village. There's a sheep or the cow or the goat or whatnot. Hey, it's beautiful.
But there's
It's
also
nature.
big city too, is what I mean. Like it's
Of
not.
course.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. You know, being exposed is important. That's why I tell people travel, get a passport. Eat.
Get out there, do it.
What is
Just do it and experience it. I mean, I can't remember her name. Last year, she was 100 and whatever. This lady from anyway, there's people in their hundreds or whatever are still making the trip because they had never been before. Black Wall Street. She had actually she and her brother decided that they would take a trip to Africa to see it for the first time and things like that. Look, do it. That's all I'd say. And see what you feel and if it's for you, because Africa is not for everybody, just like America is not for everybody. Africa is not for everybody. You got to be someone who is prepared to actually step back. The United States is highly developed. Africa, for the most part, is developing. We have cities and we have places just like in the States and all of that, but we also have poverty, which is over there and what have you. The reason for this is because of opportunities. And today, the opportunities are getting more and more, and people are beginning to find ways to actually raise the standard of their living. And there is now a burgeoning middle class in a lot of these countries, which, of course, there wasn't for a long time. And the
right?
reason for this is, but it brings with it its own problem because in places like even South Africa and Ghana, we're getting obesity as an issue. Where I mean, in Ethiopia, that was never ever a problem, but suddenly people are eating Western food. Well, no, you see, it's a standard, and suddenly I've
Eating.
again, it's part of the brainwashing.
Oh,
And with that, people actually fall into that kind of trap that they've got to have these things. And in having these things, they come with consequences.
right.
You'll have beautiful, fresh, healthy food, but you're going to take processed food because it comes from outside.
It's from America. Yeah.
Hey, it's the propaganda. It's part of the sell. These are the kind of things that we need to be doing and recognize that we're working with, we're learning from. They're learning from us, we're learning from them. And if we can do it that way, it works. You're being closer to the United States, in my opinion, means that you're more influenced by the United States than we are. Yes, we are heavily influenced by European because we've been colonized, but the traditions for a lot of these folks still exist in terms that they maintain in their communities, the traditions, which of course in Jamaica we've lost a lot of them. We built different traditions, but on real African traditions, we've lost a lot of them where we still have them on the continent.
A lot of Jamaicans, they think they're British. I'm like,
Of course,
yeah.
this is part of the whole challenge.
Growing up as a kid, my mother, I was like, "Ma, you're not British."
Don't tell her that because, yeah, between, the motherland, again, we grew up believing of the motherland as England or what have you, rather than recognizing that the motherland really is the continent of Africa. But most of us, don't forget, it wasn't so long ago in the United States, if you called someone an African, those were fighting words.
So,
Basically, you simply say you're in Africa, and that's so. This is where we're coming from to arrive at where we are right now, which is a humongous leap for a
yeah,
lot of people.
yeah. Well, I'm so happy that the world is awakening, especially African culture or Black Americans are awakening.
Well, we got the continent, the world,
Yeah,
because you're in Southern America, and I mean, don't forget, there's a lot of Africans brought to every part of Southern America, where I mean, whether it's Brazil, whether it's be Nicaragua, wherever on the continent, Southern America, there are Black people. So it's again
yeah,
finding those cultural norms.
exactly. All right. Well, Brother Rique, I really appreciate your spending time with us and sharing your experience. And I'm sure we'll have another discussion soon. I'm interviewing a lot of people from all parts of the world that have left to see what their have been. I
Yeah,
appreciate your time and thank you for being here.
yeah, my pleasure. Anytime I'm open. And as I say, I love being away from the United States.
That's gonna
So
be a
that's
sound,
me.
that's a sound bite. We're gonna use that one. I love being okay. I'll let you know when
What do
it's
we do?
all right. Take care. Bye.
Good, good. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Own Your Power Lifestyle Show. And thanks for being a part of the tribe. And if you aren't already on my mailing list, please to ownyourpower.biz and join the mailing list because we have upcoming events, specials on coaching. I have workshops every last Sunday. We have the Soul Healing Sunday event. So you need a place to unwind and just kind of set the tone for the following month. Definitely join our community where we do breath work, I do resistant healing, and we have a little talk and we plan for the next month. So thanks again for being here. Remember, anything you want is attainable. Own your power. My mornings are so much better when I start with Rise. It's packed with mushroom-powered benefits that help me focus, boost my energy, and support my immunity without the crash or jitters. As someone with the ADHD brain, this steady focus is what I need. It's everything. Start your day with Rise.